From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
Yep, it's Taylor Heating and Plumbing. You have furnace issues? Taylor Heating and Plumbing at Taylor 500 Help can help you out. If you have plumbing issues, if you have water heater issues, if you have any kind of issues related to heating and plumbing, the first guys that you should think of and call Taylor 500 Help at Taylor Heating and Plumbing. They do it all. And they take calls 24 hours a day. If your furnace goes out in the middle of the night, Taylor is open and they are dedicated to serving their clients. At Taylor Heating and Plumbing, they do it all, including comprehensive maintenance plans. And they've been doing this for a very long time. So any heating, plumbing, home energy, call Taylor. Taylor 500 Help. They are your guys. And of course, if you're looking for a job, they are in need of HVAC techs. Precision Lawn and Garden, right up there in Webster on North Avenue. They've been providing Rochester and surrounding areas professional sales, service, and parts since 1969. And if you need a snowblower, and boy, have you ever, the snow machine is pumping in Western New York right now. So you want to go see Kimberly and Justin. They can help you out with a snowblower that fits your size and your needs. Yet they also have, all kinds of different things to cut down trees. They have a snow removal equipment. They have accessories. They have everything you need, including all the good stuff for winter at Precision Lawn and Garden, 195 North Avenue in Webster. Tell Kimberly and Justin that we sent you here at Kimberly's Revolution. Express Sealers. I can still see some city streets that are really, really snow covered. And if your driveway or your business, residential or business, is one of those that needs snow plowed, call the guys at Express Sealers. Brian will help you out at 645-2010. You need snow removal on the east side. He's the guy. You actually call him. He shows up. You pay him and your driveway is done. It's that easy. Express Sealers, because, plowing snow out of your business or your driveway at home is not something you want to think about all the time. Just let Brian do the thinking for you. 645-2010. Please support our advertisers because they support us here at Kimberly's Revolution and the We the People Podcast Network.
Live from the We the People broadcast studio in cloudy 32-degree Irondequoit, New York. She's selling houses faster than a speed skater.
That's right.
Here she is. It's Kimberly Ray.
Hey, it is Kimberly's Revolution. Yeah, we do sell houses here when we're not doing podcasts that lights people on fire. That's what we do. Kimberly's Revolution, the We the People Podcast Network. I'm on fire. Yeah, I am here. I'm Kimberly. And we're glad you're here. We're glad you're watching. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Facebook. Although I got to say, I wouldn't have a problem if social media just, speaking of going up in flames, if social media just burned. And I'm going to tell you why. Because
burn in hell.
Burn it, honestly. It's burning my butt. Facebook, Twitter, GoFraudMe, which is the name of today's show. GoFraudMe is the name of today's show. We're going to get into, hey, if you missed last week's episode, Mother Truckers, the mother trucking is still going on. And God bless those truckers. But now Trudeau says they're racist neo-Nazis. And I'm going to break that story down. GoFundMe has yanked the money, but GoFraudMe doesn't have a problem giving money to organizations that defund the police, right? Any of those organizations, and there are a lot of them, as long as they're liberal, left-leaning organizations, GoFraudMe is more than happy to give them money. But you talk about hardworking blue-collar guys in Canada and right on, on the other side of the Ambassador Bridge in the USA, and I think there was a convoy planned. The convoy to DC 2022 was planned, and Facebook has shut all that down on social media. So we're going to talk about those kind of things. We have a lot of stuff to get to, including the mask mandates, which apparently are going to be extended by Kathy Hochul, at least for kids in school. The people who least need to wear a mask, right? They're the least of the individuals that need to wear a mask. So we have a lot of stuff to get to today. And then I've got to get out of here because I got to show houses.
All right.
I got a lot of stuff going on.
Go make some money.
I'm going to be in your neighborhood of Gates showing houses.
I don't live in Gates.
If anyone needs help selling their home or buying a home, We picked up a new client last week. I picked up another new
Yeah,
client. So
I got a listing on Friday.
You
in
got
the
a list.
city.
You got a listing on Friday?
Yep.
Where's it at?
It's on one of the streets with the letters.
Oh, it's a letter street.
It's a letter street.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Hopefully it sells right away.
So we do that here at Kimberly's Revolution and Revere Realty, of course, which is the main sponsor here in Irondequoit, which is where we house the podcast.
Actually, I have 2 of them over in that area.
Speaking of houses, have you ever been to the the fake Johnny Rockets, the old timey looking 50s style diner?
Sure.
Called Johnny Rockets. There's a house in Greeley, Colorado for,
couple mil,
7.4 mil, but who's counting the pennies? It has a lake and a 1950 style diner. There's the house on the outside. There it is. Do we have, I think we have a couple pictures of the actual 50 style diner. Did you get that? There were 3 pictures all in a row.
No, this was the only one I got.
That's the only one you have?
Give me a minute, though.
But it's got the Johnny, there were 3 pictures all in a row. There was a Johnny Rockets style diner. This has got 12 acres in Greeley, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Wow.
10 bathrooms, 6 bedrooms, 12,000 square feet, including a movie theater and that little 50 style diner that they have.
You can get that same house in East Bloomfield for $600-700.
That's what I'm thinking.
Save a lot of money.
That's what I'm thinking. Absolutely. But for $7.4 million in Greeley, Colorado, and all the weed you can possibly smoke, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
That
is
timber
beautiful. Frame of some nature.
I know. I think it's really pretty. But right now I have buyers that are looking to buy, and if you have a house, we'd love to list it for you. So call us here at Revere Realty or reach out to us at kgoodman@revererealty.com. All right. So Kathy Hochul's statewide mask mandate.
One thing.
What did I forget?
You forgot to introduce Austin.
I forgot to introduce you.
And me.
Just Tom. I forget.
I'm
There's
the
so
shadow.
many things.
It
Just
doesn't
Tom.
matter. You don't have to introduce me.
Just Tom is here.
I'll just be here and I'll be blushing
and
shy.
And Austin, our producer, who we were having a lively conversation with before we started the podcast.
Austin
and also,
woke up from his hibernation.
Thanks to Fitz, by the way, to Fitz at Rockbox Productions for helping us set all this up. And he can do the same for you when he's not making movies or doing certain things.
I'm going the wrong way.
You got Rockbox Production.
Rockbox.
There it is. It's right on your shirt. So thank you, Austin, for being here. Well, let's get into the conversation first.
You're all excited about the show.
I am all excited about the show.
Right.
Well, first off, the Oscar nominations came out today.
What?
And
they still do that?
They do still do that. The Oscar nominations came out today. And for Best Picture, I haven't seen one single movie on the list. Not one. Like Belfast. Anybody heard of it? Coda.
I think it's in Ireland.
That's a good guess.
Is it about drinking Guinness?
Yes. I have no idea. Coda. Don't Look Up.
I saw that.
Which is on Netflix, right? Stupid. I didn't even make it halfway through.
It's got all the stars in it. That's why it's on the list.
Yeah. Maybe it's me. I just don't get it. It's stupid.
Oh, it's so on the nose. Like just really like a little subtlety goes a long way.
It's liberal comedy.
It's ridiculous.
Kimberly, that's why you didn't get it.
Drive My Car, Dune, which was good back in 1982, but I mean, not maybe so much now in 2022.
The 82 one is terrible. The new one is actually pretty good.
What?
Yeah. Oh, the David Lynch one. You're really going to defend that?
I gotta say, I had a boyfriend at the time who wanted to see it, and I put the ixnay on that. I was like, we're not going to
because it was a bad movie.
Dune. I just don't get into things like that. But you're saying that Dune 2022 is better than Dune 1982? Is that what you're telling me, Austin?
I'm telling you that right now, 100%.
I don't know. King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and of course, remaking West Side Story, which they should never. It's blasphemy almost. It's Hollywood blasphemy. You can never outgrade the original West Side Story, can you? I don't.
Well, isn't that Spielberg? So he's on the list because it's Spielberg.
When you're a jet, you're okay. It's just me.
I only know I feel pretty.
The Power of the Dog has Kirsten Dunst in it, and her husband Jesse Plemons, who is a great actor. He's been in a lot of things. He was in Breaking Bad. I don't know if you are familiar with him, but The Power of the Dog is kind of like so it's a little bit of a Western. I got started on it one day and then had to go somewhere, and I haven't gotten back to it. But that's the only one I recognize out of all the Best Pictures. And my question is, because you brought up a good point, Austin, it's like people didn't go out to the movie theaters, but are they ever going to go back to the movie theaters? I don't think so.
If it's a good movie, I guess.
Yeah,
really?
They're going out in droves to go see that Spider-Man movie. The Spider-Man movie made $2 billion, and it did not even get released in China, which, that's where most of these movies make their money.
Can I just tell you, if you've seen one Spider-Man, haven't you seen all the Spider-Men?
No,
I'm just asking.
That's a silly thing to say.
No.
You're being ridiculous.
I mean, I don't get the continuous remake of Spider-Man. If you've seen one, isn't it the same Spidey premise?
So what is the Spidey premise then? What do you like? What do you think?
He gets bit by a spider.
Well, he doesn't get bit by a spider in every movie.
He's got the girlfriend. Wasn't Kirsten Dunst actually in one of the?
Yeah, she was the Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Yeah, I mean that's the last Spider-Man that I saw. I know there was one filmed here in Rochester, New York, downtown.
Oh, that was the worst one. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That is a terrible movie.
I mean, I just don't get it. Yeah. So I will tell you, if you've not seen Being the Ricardos, I do believe Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman, who plays Lucy Ricardo, Being the Ricardos, it's 1 week out of filming their show in which she's being investigated for communist sympathy. It's pretty good. I think Nicole Kidman is pretty good as as Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Javier Bardem, I don't really know, but here's who I will tell you is probably going to win Best Actress. And it's got to be Jessica Chastain, who plays Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. If you've not seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye, it is phenomenal. It's hands down. You look at Jessica Chastain as Tammy Faye Baker and you don't know it's Jessica Chastain. And it's phenomenal. The whole,
the whole religious
PTL,
thing.
religious. Yeah,
I was there. So, I was in that cult.
You were?
Oh, yeah. I know it well. I was there.
You gave money to the PTL?
I was in the PTL.
You're joking,
Oh,
right?
no. PTL.
Yeah, PTL. What did you think? PTA?
PTA. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing?
It's not.
Oh,
it is not.
I made a lot of cookies.
I mean, I love movies, and I'm the biggest girl on going to the movies because I love the popcorn and I love that whole thing. But I had to tell you, I really haven't been that gung-ho to go back to the movies, and I've always been a movie girl, specifically just for the snacks. But I like the movies.
All right.
Okay, so that's it for the movies. So the Oscars.
So I got to catch up on my movies. Although, typically I never watch any of the movies that are up for Oscars. So that doesn't surprise me.
Do you bet on football?
Sure.
Do you bet at 31.5 million?
This year you can bet legally.
Americans are betting on the Super Bowl, and that includes legal, I think, and non-legal. Because
that's why.
Because some businesses have their own little football squares.
You want to get a square pool together?
No.
Okay.
Who's it going to be? Who's going to be on the square? Me, you, Austin, Chad.
That's about it.
Who else?
You got to sell 100 of them.
Yeah. Who else? Rich says, so right, Kimberly, we didn't like the new West Side Story. I wouldn't even spend my money to go watch it. It's probably online. I don't know where it is, but you can't redo greatness. And that was just great. The original West Side Story. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. All right. Governor Hochul's mask mandate, even though all these governors, surrounding the state of New York are lifting the mask mandate. No. Not our beloved devil herself. Kathy Hochul is probably going to extend the mask mandate, at least for children. They haven't said today, as of the time that we came, on into the studio for this podcast, but it's my understanding that the mask mandate is going to continue, at least in schools. And school superintendents are wringing their hands. They're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We've asked the governor for guidance on this. And I'm like, remove the masks.
Right.
How about that? How about don't make kids who are the least affected by COVID wear a mask anymore?
She's doubling down on stupid.
How
It's going to
about,
cost her the election.
how about, well, she didn't stand a chance to begin with. But
You think?
she was supposed to
I
be
don't know.
meeting with state superintendents at 2, and the plan was to talk about, the masking going forward. But isn't it time to unmask our children? Should we have ever masked them up in the first place? Again, the least affected group, right? They have no comorbidities for the most part. They're not old. They're not in a nursing home. They get a cold. They pass it on to another kid. They recover, and it's all fine. Kids weren't the main ones affected.
I don't know, Kimberly. You're
COVID.
not trusting the science.
I guess I can think for myself.
There isn't any science. It's all bullshit.
I guess. Okay. So before I get into the big, mother trucker situation and GoFraudMe, which is still going on, I do want to say that coming up, we're going to talk about a situation that involves crack pipes and how your tax money is going to fund
Give me some crack.
crack pipes. I know. Where is that? Hold on.
Give me some crack.
No.
Good cracker. Good cracker.
I want some crack.
I want some crack.
There it is. I got it. I want some crack. All right. Here's what pisses me off to no end.
Something pisses you off?
The truckers are still in Ottawa, still doing their thing,
Out of gas.
but they wouldn't be out of gas or out of money. There was a big GoFundMe, and I was so excited about this because, okay, here they are. Here are the truckers in Canada. They are protesting because of mask and vaccine mandates, specifically the vaccine mandate, which Canada said in order to be a trucker, you have to get vaxxed. They're alone in their trucks for the most part. And if they wear a mask when they're offloading their stuff, I don't understand the big deal. So there are about 7 to 10 to 20,000 people and truckers that have joined this whole protest now. And Trudeau, speaking for the first time yesterday,
Came out of his basement.
came out of his basement
There he is.
and says they're neo-Nazis, they're racist, and there's swastikas everywhere.
Of course
Now-
he did.
I want to show you something for a second. What do you see in that picture, Austin?
So many swastikas and don't forget those Confederate maple leaves we got going
Those
on.
Confederate maple leaves.
What's the one with
That's
the
it.
red cross, the crosses all over the place? That's got to be racist.
I don't know what
What
that
is
is.
that?
That's not a swastika. You know,
Well, if you put enough lines in it, you
It's
can
a,
make
it's
it
a
a
Canadian.
swastika.
It's a
It's a
Canadian.
Canadian
swastika.
swastika.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's red. So it's Canadian.
So I mean, he's saying that, Canadian truckers are similar to terrorists, that
course they are.
they're wreaking havoc on the Canadian economy.
Well, they're going to cripple the economy. That's the whole point.
He warned demonstrators they were affecting the economy and trying to undermine democracy. Isn't protesting the finest form of democracy? Or at
Sure
least
is.
one of the finer forms of democracy? He branded the protesters in Ottawa as a few people shouting and waving swastikas. I have yet to see on all of the footage on the truckers in Canada in the protest, I have yet to see one swastika. Now, there might be some fringe groups there trying to start trouble, as we
Mhm.
have seen fringe groups before when towns and cities were burning all over America in the summer of 2020. We remember those days, right? These truckers aren't burning down anything. They're not looting anything. They're not setting cop cars on fire.
They're
They
going
are-
to Wendy's for a 5 for $5.
I don't
They're
even
not burning it down.
I don't even know that. Canadian truckers blasting the government and Ottawa police after members of the Freedom Convoy were arrested and charged with hate crimes. What hate crimes? Can we see a little bit of the Prime Minister Trudeau and his idiocy?
Individuals are trying to blockade our economy, our democracy, and our fellow citizens' daily lives. It has to stop. The people of Ottawa don't deserve to be harassed in their own neighborhoods. They don't deserve to be confronted with the inherent violence of a swastika flying on a street corner, or a Confederate flag, or the insults and jeers just because they're wearing a mask.
There you go. There you go. Okay. So there you go. They're carrying swastikas. Where? Even a reporter for the Daily Mail said he didn't see one swastika being carried by any of the truckers or the protesters. What they're trying to do here, and please understand this, is spin the narrative. They're trying to spin the narrative, which makes the truckers look like bad guys. They're not destroying property. They have just decided they're not going to run their big rigs until the vaccine mandate is gone. They can do that. So they sent, I think, tow trucks down to tow the trucks away, the big rigs.
How are they going to do that?
Guess what happened?
How are they going to get the tow trucks in?
The tow trucks joined the Freedom Convoy. The guys who were driving the tow trucks said, we'll go down there, but we're not towing anything. Maybe Prime Minister Trudeau thinks that demonstrating in Canada is a hate crime just because Canadians are supposed to be so nice and easy and they go along to get along and right? They just want to drink their Molson and play hockey. That's all they want to do. How dare Canadians assert their freedom? How dare they question authority or Canadian democracy? That's what Prime Minister Trudeau is so pissed off about, that Canadians are finally getting mad. They're getting mad.
They're in his way. Just to be Chad for a minute, Prime Minister Trudeau, he believes in the Adam Bellow of if you're inside talking, then you don't need your mask on when you're at a microphone.
Oh, is that right? You don't need your mask on?
You don't. I thought it was an indoor mask mandate.
You know, for the left, really, it just boils down to we want to do what we want to do when we want to do it.
Right.
And the rest of the country can just, they're under the thumb of the lockdowns and the mask mandates and the vaccine mandate, and you will do as we tell you, or we will have you arrested. We will brand you a racist. We will say that you're, sending out hate messages. If you don't agree with what we agree with, in other words, we're just going to do what we want to do when we want to do it. That's really what you see from the left, from Hollywood.
Why doesn't the government kind of do what we do in our country? Is just give everybody a trespass ticket and tell them to come back in 6 years.
6 years?
Come back in 6 years and see if it works.
When they were burning
like
down cities and looting across the country.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, were any people arrested immediately and taken to jail?
I'm sure.
So some were that they could catch.
And then they let them out.
Speaking of our country, so based on, it seems like Americans who were in Detroit near the Ambassador Bridge where all of this is going on, kind of wanted to get involved. So there is a group that are following Canada's lead, and they've organized a protest regarding vaccine mandates here in the US. And on Facebook, they've been sending out all the information. The group is titled Convoy to DC 2020. And it was a place for truckers to plan and coordinate their trek from California to Washington, D.C. But Facebook has completely removed the group. They're gone. They are 100% not there. Do we have any of that audio, video?
Facebook silencing a U.S.
Whoa.
trucker's Facebook page as they prepare to follow their lead, follow the lead of their Canadian counterparts and drive from California to Washington, D.C. in protest of vaccine mandates. Our panel of truckers joins me now. Mike Landis, Jeremy Johnson, who is also the Facebook group administrator for Convoy to D.C. 2022, and Brian Brazzi, the co-organizer of Convoy to D.C. 2022. Good morning to all of you, gentlemen. Jeremy, why did Facebook take down your page?
Censorship at its finest. I got a hold of freedomfighternation.org, human rights attorney Lee Dundas,
Chad Hummel.
and we are in discussion with her as we speak to see what our options moving forward are. But they like to silence people that speak the truth.
Well, Facebook released a statement to Fox and Friends, Brian. They say, we have removed this group for repeatedly violating our policies around QAnon. What's your reaction to this, and how big of a deal is it for this movement that you're trying to start for you to no longer have this Facebook page?
Well, I mean, I have to laugh about that because can they contact me or something? Can we talk? Because that's not true. And if that was so, they actually had offered the administrators to remove content and then request a review again. They didn't even give that option. When you click back onto the page, they literally wiped Mike Landis and Jeremy completely out of the Facebook. Their Facebook profile is gone, banned. They don't even have a profile anymore.
Can we just stop that right there? So here we are. So we have GoFraudMe, which $10 million was raised mostly by Americans for these Canadian truckers who are protesting the vaccine mandate. GoFraudMe last week, I think when we were here on the show, or maybe it was on Wednesday, where someone had texted in and said, hey, they've halted the fundraising activity. And in essence, they absolutely have. GoFraudMe, the convoy, the truckers set up a fundraising site on GoFraudMe to pay for fuel, food, and lodging. And it looks like GoFraudMe says, you know what? We really have trouble with this. We've talked to local police and government authorities, and we're going to distribute the money to other organizations that would be well served. They're also giving some of the money back. Can you believe that?
Well, didn't Elon Musk put in 50 grand of his money to it?
I mean, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Well,
absolutely.
Facebook stock is down another 3% today to 218.45. And it's been down 35% in the last 3 months and 30% in the last month. So Facebook stock is falling like a lead sinker.
Yeah. As of this weekend,
people put their money where their politics are.
GoFundMe claims it shut down the truckers and won't release the funds because of reports of violence. Yet GoFundMe funds organizations and distributes money to organizations that defund the police. Mm-hmm. GoFraudMe now says that they will send all remaining funds that are not eligible to be given back to whoever donated the money. They're going to send all remaining funds to credible and established charities verified by GoFraudMe.
Climate change, save the turtles.
Defund the police. Senator Ted Cruz has a little bit of a problem with this of Texas. Can we see what he has to say?
Listen, it is theft on the part of GoFundMe. Let me say the Canadian truckers are heroes. They are patriots, and they are marching for your freedom and for my freedom. They are those truck drivers that, God bless them, they're defending Canada, but they're defending America as well. That is courage on display, that the government doesn't have the right to force you to comply to their arbitrary mandates. And they're standing up for freedom. And of course, big government hates it and is trying to crush them. Of course, the corporate media hates it and is trying to silence them. And big tech, you look at what GoFundMe did. People gave $10 million to support the Freedom Convoy because they were so proud of the courage of these truck drivers. And the thieves in Silicon Valley decided, we don't like your politics. So A, we're going to take your money. And then B, we're going to give it to people we like. Listen, if anyone else did that, that is called theft. And so today, I sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission asking that the FTC open an investigation into GoFundMe into whether they've committed deceptive trade practices, because when people gave money, they gave money under the promise it would go to the Freedom Convoy, not to whatever left-wing political ideology GoFundMe and other Silicon Valley companies support. They are deceiving consumers, and it is wrong.
Yeah. So that is Senator Ted Cruz out of Texas. And it brings up a good point. Are we not allowed to give our money to organizations that we want to support?
I guess not.
We're not allowed to do that because Facebook isn't going to allow you to organize. Twitter doesn't like your politics. GoFraudMe doesn't like organizations that you're donating your money to. So you're kind of hamstrung by social media. This is where we are.
Yeah, what if the 10 million went to illegal border crossing agents and coyotes in Mexico? They'd be okay with that, right?
I will tell you that remember all of the craziness that was going on in Portland in 2020
with Mr. Ted Wheeler, the mayor there, getting his apartments egged.
There was mayhem in Portland. They had a whole section of the city
there.
They had a whole section of the city that was like, what did they call that? It was like it was a criminal zone, really.
Chop zone in Seattle.
They just basically shut half of the city down. Was it in Portland where they were going to take over the police station?
Yeah.
Right? Portland. GoFundMe had no problem with that. The site raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Portland General Defense Committee to defend the rioters who set fire to the police stations. But
paid all their bail and whatever their legal fees that they encountered.
But GoFraudMe says, oh no, we're going to take a percentage, of course, but we're not going to give that money to the truckers. We'll give all your money back. We're going to keep our percentage. And then the money that we can't find to give back, we're just going to donate that to organizations that we can confirm are real. Oh, okay. Can you see the problem with this?
How'd you like to be who was ever in charge of that Facebook page or whatever, the GoFundMe page, and you actually
GoFraudMe. It's GoFraudMe from here on out. GoFraudMe.
Do they send you a check or a wire transfer? You look in your checking account and it's got like $12 million in it. You go like, excuse me.
Let me ask you.
What the hell?
What's the real?
I mean, how does that work anyways? Do they just wire somebody $12 million?
I don't know how
if they were going to give it to the guy, how does that even
work?
work?
The person that started
they're just going to wire him $11 million and say, here you go. Have a good day.
That money was raised. I don't know how it works because I've never, I've never been on the receiving end of a GoFundMe. So I'm not sure how that whole thing works, but I will tell you, they take a percentage, and I'm not sure if it's 5 or 10% of the money raised, but GoFundMe takes a percentage of that money.
But it's no wonder that Black Lives Matter and all these other groups, the Canadian truckers, whoever, when GoFundMe or GoFraudMe, they send some guy a check for $11 million or wire to his account. You go, okay, guys, I'm going to go buy an island in the Bahamas. Have a good time with your convoy. I mean, how do you organize and keep all this straight?
It is a little crazy.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, if you want to donate your money, it's your money. You should be able to donate your money and have it go where it's supposed to go. Now, I've always said, let the buyer beware, because a lot of these organizations, they pay for the top tier CEOs, the 4 or 5 corporate executives at a lot of these but this is GoFraudMe. That money was supposed to go to the truckers. They didn't like the politics. So since they didn't like the politics, they said, you know what, those truckers aren't going to get the money. But burn down a police station in Portland and GoFraudMe is 100% behind them. Or Black Lives Matter. And let me ask you, Black Lives Matter has a little bit of a problem on their hand.
Where'd all the money go?
And I'm not saying a little bit. I'm saying a $60 million problem, because it is unclear where $60 million is, it can't be accounted for, that was donated to Black Lives Matter.
They invested in real estate, I hear, Kimberly.
They've invested. I think some of the top people have invested their money in real estate.
That's a good investment.
Black Lives Matter has now been ordered to halt online fundraising in California after it's been said that they cannot account for $60 million of your money that you may or may not have donated. But who do you have to be mad at? If it turns out that they spent a lot of that money on themselves, because I don't believe it went to help, Black Americans in cities where they needed help.
Probably
I don't
not.
believe that helped any of the Black community. That $60 million is just poof, it's gone. So like you're giving money to a religious organization or whatever, it's your money. The government can't tell you what to do with your money. If you want to donate to the Canadian truckers, you should be able to do that. And social media like GoFraudMe and Twitter and Facebook should not shut down one side of a conversation. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but that is where we're living. Facebook said, "Oh no, we're not going to have anything to do with organizing a convoy of truckers to DC."
Is the IRS
that is anti what we believe in.
Is the IRS going to not call that a charity contribution too? Probably not, right?
I think if
you give to Black Lives Matter, I'm sure it's a charity contribution.
I think anything. I mean, I don't know. It depends on who your tax attorney is and how much you put forward. But here is social media putting the clamp down on one side of the conversation. And that's the side that they don't want to have anything to do with.
Well,
everything else is fine.
Probably 90% of the people work there, at least, are probably all on that side, and they all agree when they're in their boardroom meeting that we're going to shut this down.
It's dangerous. I mean, I would think if there's ever going to be any kind of civil war, it's going to be started by social media and the antics that they're and what they're doing to America. Don't you believe?
The new civil war is going to be fought in people's basements on computers. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's going to be people who've had enough of the bullshit. I mean, that's what I think.
When does it come out of the basements on the
this.
Computers and start with the guns?
When you start shutting down people's ability to have an opinion, canceling them, not allowing them to donate.
Mr. Rogan.
Not allowing them. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan.
He's in trouble for what he said how many years ago?
He said the N-word a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you knew that they weren't going to let Joe Rogan off for just the conversation about the vaccines and the masks and COVID. They were going to dig up something on Joe Rogan, and they did. They put together like 16, different times over a course of, I don't know how many years, that he said the N-word. He apologized and then took down multiple episodes of the Joe Rogan podcast. They're just gone. They're just gone. Luckily, Spotify says,
for now,
we're sticking by Joe Rogan, but I think it's only because they spent so much money on the Joe Rogan podcast.
And then did you see where the Rock was backing off of him? Dwayne Johnson came out and originally supporting, and now he's like, oh, I didn't know he did that.
You know how the Whoopi story just kind of disappeared, right?
Yeah, they all back off.
Whoopi, who said that the Holocaust wasn't about race.
Yeah, she's gone now.
She's off the radar.
Yeah.
Now it's just all about Joe Rogan. The fact that in a montage, he said, the N-word 16 times over a period of like 15 years. So, I mean, do I agree with, he was, if you've heard some of it, it is cringeworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I've never said the N-word on the air, ever. And I was canceled. I did not say the N-word. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
I never said the N-word. Never
you said
came.
A Shakespearean word.
I didn't even say that. I simply asked a question about the activity of people who were looting and beating up a woman with a 2x4 that weighed about 100 pounds. And that was it. canceled.
Right.
Neil Young, who demanded that Spotify take off all of his, albums and music off Spotify, says that the workers at Spotify should just quit. That's what he's saying today. He was unimpressed with the letter from the CEO of Spotify. And he says, Neil Young, to the workers at Spotify, Daniel Ek, your CEO, is your problem, not Joe Rogan. Ek pulls the strings. Get out of that place before it eats your soul. Now, let me just tell you who this is coming from. An old rocker who's made millions off selling his records and albums and having his catalog on Sirius XM, making all of the money he could line his freedom-loving pockets, keep on rocking in the money world, right? Neil Young? Here's an old wealthy guy telling people busting their ass at Spotify, just quit before it eats your soul.
Mm-hmm. And back then, he was the one fighting against censorship, right? All those old rockers back in the 60s and 70s.
That's it. So Spotify
now
paid
censorship's okay. Back then, it wasn't.
Spotify paid $100 million to exclusively host Joe Rogan's podcast.
He gets like 10, 11 million viewers.
And my question is, when does the punishment stop? You've apologized forever. When can you, I mean, right?
I told you, people called me soon after we hired you, and I asked them that very question. Okay. When? And their answer was never, forever. Never.
Right? Never. Never have another voice. Never get another job. Never
do anything.
Never get to continue with your podcast, Joe Rogan. I mean, I don't.
Not even work at McDonald's. Never. Right.
They just want to see you dissolve into the ground.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But again, here is an old wealthy rocker who doesn't give a rat's ass about anyone working at Spotify. And let's be clear, Neil Young was one of the most miserable rockers ever. Kicked out of his own group, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, on multiple occasions.
They're making a reunion, I heard.
Who could stand him? Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Talk about taking advantage of the situation. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young are making a reunion now.
Right.
Because all of a sudden they're popular.
Because all of a sudden they've got a catalog of... There's a Neil Young station on Sirius XM. I would not listen to if I had to.
Great marketing, boys.
But people should have the choice to make over whether or not they want to listen to Joe Rogan. If I don't want to listen to Joe Rogan, then I don't go to his podcast.
Right.
If I don't want to watch The View because Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of those, chickens are ridiculous.
Right.
I don't listen to The View. I don't watch The View.
You don't even watch your own podcast.
I don't.
Right.
But here we are today. That's not good enough. Joe Rogan took, however many podcasts off the, they're just gone, deleted them, but that's not enough for people. They still want Joe Rogan gone. Now, should he have said the N-word repeatedly over and over on separate occasions? And I don't think people realize that was separate occasions spanning several years. Not that it makes that any better. It does not. But people have been canceled for a lot less.
All right. Prediction time, Kimberlina. How much time does he got and where's he going to go?
Well, I was wrong on Whoopi Goldberg. I thought that she'd be gone. But she's just suspended without pay. Again, she's an old Hollywood actress that has more than enough money to cover the $40,000 that she's going to lose in a week or two time span, right?
She went on vacation.
Probably went on vacation to some fabulous resort that you and I will never, ever be able to afford in a lifetime, but that's okay. Right. I don't begrudge her that. She has spent her life working.
Yeah.
She has spent her life working,
very talented,
perfecting her craft, making her money. Good for her. So is Joe Rogan. But once you say something that is against the left and their beliefs, they want you gone, whether it's COVID, whether it's about race, whether it's about the state of America, the economics, what COVID has done to this country, what the rioting and the burning of cities like Portland and here in Rochester have done to the country. And then to see what's happening, to everyday people who were just put out of work by COVID, never to get their jobs back. I mean, some of those jobs are never coming back.
What are you talking about? It's the greatest economy we've ever seen. Millions and millions of jobs are being created.
Exactly.
Where are you getting your news, Kimberlina?
You're watching Kimberly's Revolution on the We the People Podcast Network.com. We the People Podcast Network.com, of course, we actually have a website. It is up and running. If you're watching us on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or on Facebook, please give us a like and let us know what we can do better. We always appreciate any kind of feedback from you, good or bad. Believe me, your bad feedback doesn't bother me. If it irritates me, I will probably let you know that it irritates me.
Okay.
But then again, people who regularly, watch and listen know that I don't hold back the punches. I'm not Miss Nicey Nice. That's really the only problem I have being a real estate agent is I try to be nice, and sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes it is.
Did you take your medicine today?
I'm not on medication. Okay, so that's that. I mean, that's what I have to say about that.
All right.
It's a very dangerous trek that we're taking, allowing social media to get away with what they're getting away with.
Who's next?
From GoFraudMe to Twitter to Facebook, all putting the clamp down on any conservative voice whatsoever. From getting rid of the convoy to DC, getting rid of the Facebook page, to GoFraudMe, not allowing people to donate to the truckers' protest.
They got rid of the president of the United States, Kimberlina.
It's a danger.
Who's Joe Rogan?
Right?
Right.
All of a sudden, you're gone from Twitter. If you're the president, if they can cancel the president of the United States,
who's next?
There's something seriously wrong. And it's a threat to all democracy. I think that's what it's leading to, is just nothing but trouble. You know what? If Facebook went away today, I really don't. In fact, I'm just relieved, right?
All right.
If Facebook,
I lived 50 years without it.
And Twitter, and what are some of the other platforms, social media, Austin? I mean, I look at the young guy. I don't know why I do that.
I don't have social media. I don't know. Instagram, I think.
Instagram. I mean, all those things.
MySpace.
No, not MySpace.
No.
If Snapchat, if all those things just went away,
TikTok,
I'd be more than happy. I wouldn't have a problem. And I think that people,
what would we
general,
do? Pay attention to our kids?
Pay attention to each other.
Go outside and play?
Pay attention to each other.
Actually talk?
Have a conversation?
It's overrated.
I know, right? I like this story out of Wisconsin. And this is a couple who just claimed Wisconsin's $316.3 million Powerball ticket.
Whoa.
Tammy and Cliff Webster of Wisconsin won the money after taxes. They are walking away with $153.9 million. I think we have Tammy and Cliff Webster.
I got up. I was getting ready for work. I had my coffee. Watched the 4:30 news. The news said that they had two winners, and I felt all sad. And they said they had one in California and one in Wisconsin.
And I was mumbling all the way to the kitchen table, like, you know how many people play in Wisconsin? You know how much, what's the odds of us winning? I got my number out and I started looking at it. And I noticed my second number match started. There was some numbers that matched, and I couldn't believe it. Like, this cannot be the Powerball. That's how my luck is. This will be a 5 or a 2.
That's what I always say.
I lifted my finger up, and sure enough, it was 17, and I couldn't believe it. I just sat there staring at it, and she was in the recliner, and she's looking at me, and I yelled to her that we won, and I couldn't believe it. It's unbelievable. You don't know what to do. We're 4:30 in the morning. We're hugging and yelling, and it was one of the happiest moments of my life.
And then we're standing there. What do we do? What do we do? We are very happy about this, and I want to thank Grandfather, the Creator, God, for giving us this great gift.
Oh, canceled.
Anybody could win. Just be thankful for what you have and be happy, and maybe good things will come because it came for us.
Her dad has passed away now, but I told her dad that I would always take care of her. And this gives me that
Aw.
opportunity, and I will live up to that.
I love that.
This helps a great deal.
153.9 million after taxes.
What they do with the other 170 million goes to the government.
Goes to
Gets spent on road infrastructure.
I don't know, but it goes to taxes.
goes nowhere.
They live in Oneida and Oneida, Wisconsin. They bought their ticket at a Citgo in Green Bay. They are Native Americans. She is Oneida Indian and part Sioux, and he is from the Oneida tribe. So she's part Oneida, part Sioux, and he is from the Oneida tribe,
Good for them.
100%. So there they are.
Got to be in it to win it.
53. Can you even imagine?
Were you in it?
I was.
I haven't
When
played
it gets
in years.
when it gets big like that, I play the Powerball.
When it gets
and the
big
Mega.
like
When it
that?
when it gets big like that, I play. I'm all in.
I think you'd have a better chance winning like 2-3 million, right?
I'd give my money to the truckers in Ontario, or in Canada, in Ottawa, but they probably not let me give a donation.
Just drive up there and
Because
hand them fun coupons.
it's
Hand them a few
un-American.
$100 bills.
It's un-American. If you're not donating to defund the police organizations, you're just not American, right? That's it makes me so mad. That whole GoFraudMe, the whole thing.
Whatever.
Just it irks me. You have anything?
I got a few things.
A few things because I gotta go. Because I
You
gotta
go?
I gotta go.
You got to go make some money?
I gotta go make some money.
Do you know that there's a new app out that tells you how your cat is feeling, whether they're happy or not?
I don't
gotta
need
get
that.
this.
I know how
Your
my cats
cat
are
could
feeling.
be sad.
My cats are very happy
It's
all
called
the time.
Tably, Tably.
No.
You take a picture of your cat and it tells you whether it's happy or not. You believe that?
No.
What kind of crap is that? That can't be right.
Shoot, we didn't get to the crack story. We'll get to the crack story tomorrow.
What crack?
The crack story.
Isn't that what the title of our show today?
No, it was GoFraudMe.
Oh, I thought it was Give Me Some Crack.
The crack is your tax dollars are. We'll break this down tomorrow. I've got a video. I'm going to send it to Austin right now, and see if he can put it up because I will tell you how I know what my cats are feeling. But go ahead.
Oh, that's it.
That's all you had?
Yeah, I figured we didn't have a lot of time. I got more stuff, but it's crap.
It's crap. I don't even know if Austin can get this up in time, but I'm
All
sending
right, well, I'll talk
I'm
then.
sending it to him. No, that's okay. Hold on.
There's this guy. His name is Dr. Cameron Carlson. Okay. He is head of the Zombie Research Society.
I do believe in zombies.
He's a doctor. He's head of the Zombie Research Society. Do you know what he says?
What?
He says your dog will tell you when
The zombie
the
apocalypse is
uprising
happening.
of the
Okay.
dead is coming.
That's good.
So he says, pay attention to your dog because when the uprising is coming, they will give you advance warning. This guy's a doctor.
Can I just say I'm more worried
is
about
that trust the science?
I'm not worried about the zombies. I'm worried about the woke. There. Okay. So can I show you a picture? Do you have that up yet, or you're okay?
There's a cat.
I want to tell you how I can tell if my cat is happy or not.
You don't have the app. You don't know shit about your cat,
apparently not.
Kimberly.
Can you play that? Are you on the table? Yeah. Dick, you're not in it.
You silly girl. You silly girl.
She was on the table last
She
night.
hates you. I could tell.
Can you tell? She's miserable, that cat.
I'm looking at you to pet her some more.
Gotta-
You
You got to get the app.
look at her. She goes, oh,
You got to get the app. Take a picture of your cat
I don't need to.
and see if it's happy.
Clearly that's a very sad, depressed cat
It
right
could
there.
be.
Very sad, very depressed, very unhappy, looking for a way to get out of the Ray household.
If I had a cat, I would use the Tably app.
No, no,
It has to.
No.
It's science. How do you not?
absolutely
It's
not.
science. You
All right.
can't. You got to trust it.
That is going to do it for Kimberly's Revolution. We are going to break down Biden's
Give me some crack.
$30 million grant to help organizations that help the addicted
You're gonna let Chad get a piece of that.
give out crack pipes.
All right.
It sounds like it's a fake story, right? Even Austin said that is not a real story, but it is a real story.
Shouldn't we put the money to like rehab centers and things like that?
$30 million grant program
to get people high.
will distribute funds to nonprofits and local governments to buy needles and crack pipes to keep people
Crazy.
safer.
Oh, by the way,
safer
people,
while they're doing
watch the
drugs.
damn Olympics. The ratings are at all-time low. We need some help here. Who's
Nobody cares about the Olympics.
I
Nobody
know, but come
cares about
on. The Olympics are awesome.
They're boring. All right, that's
No.
going to do it for Kimberly's Revolution
Go
on
watch
the We
the
the People
Olympics.
Podcast Network. We appreciate you for tuning in. Of course, we'll be here tomorrow at 4:00. You don't want to miss it.
God bless. Be kind to others.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.